This video is brought to you by the University Writing Center, a unit of the Department of Rhetoric and Writing at the University of Texas at Austin. You can contact us at uwc.utexas.edu.
Hi, everybody. We're here to talk to you today about counterarguments, how to deal with them, and why you might want to. I'm Tristan.
And I'm Justin.
So I think we should start by talking about concession.
Wait, I don't think we really need to define concession. I think we all know what that means.
Justin, I concede that lots of viewers probably know the definition of concession, but it's important to talk about why it can be a rhetorically effective move.
I see what you did there with the concession. And you know, I'm more willing to listen once I feel that you are willing to hear me and agree with even a portion of my argument.
This is one thing that concession does. It builds up your ethos for the audience. It signals that you're a good faith arguer who is willing to take other people's points of view seriously and is willing to be persuaded.
But generating goodwill isn't the only thing concession does. Concession shows your reader that you are someone worth arguing with because you've done your research. You know the situation, the people involved, and what they have to say.
And you have enough confidence in your argument to incorporate when and why some counter arguments might make sense to your audience.
But it can be counterproductive to concede too much.
Yeah, you did your research and you still chose your position. So part of your job is to show the audience why you didn't choose the other arguments.
And that's where refutation comes in.
Refutation is also rhetorically powerful because if you've established yourself as someone who argues in good faith, who does your research, and who has weighed all the possibilities, then the audience can trust you to tell them why the other arguments aren't as beneficial to them. In fact, you could say doing this is your responsibility.
This, of course, is much different than attacking all arguments that are not ours, simply because they are not ours.
Good argumentation is different from competitive debate. At its best, rhetoric is a pursuit of truth.
Which means if we encounter, either while researching or writing, a position that will benefit our audience more than the one we initially found most convincing, we should seriously consider adopting that position or altering our own.
But we've got it. We've got the best answer. Now we just need to be found convincing. And that means figuring out when to concede, when to refute, and when to put forth our own argument.
Should we always concede first, then refute, then argue our own points?
That's one way to structure your case, but the choice you make is going to have to depend on your audience, their values, and their disposition toward the topic.
For example, if you are speaking to friends and you know that they will agree with much of what you're going to say, you may lead with your own argument.
However, if you know your audience will be hostile to you or to your argument, then it's a good idea to do some conceding first to demonstrate your good faith.
All right. What we've learned in this video is that concession is a powerful tool, especially when addressing hostile audiences. We've learned the necessity and responsibility of refuting other arguments, and we've learned that our audience determines the order in which we present these.
There is, of course, a lot more to know about counterarguments and how to deal with them, but that should get you started. Thanks for joining us.